Okay, y'all. I mean, this is not how I planned on ending out the year. I wanted to end out the year on a good note, and we still are. But it seems like we got to get a couple fools together before we end out this darn going already effed up year. And, I never thought that I would have to, address these two because I watched them for many years. I watched them consistently since 2012. And I've even went back and, binge watched for hours upon hours of all the old videos from 2008 and 9. And it's the Skorpion Show. Now, we all know of the Skorpion Show and the Black Sector of YouTube. And, they were our first people that really made it. But, then fell off and just stayed falling off. I stay falling and I in love with the you. Honey, just like darn Alicia darn yodeling vocals falling off. Honey, these two have fallen off and has stayed on a flat line. Not even stagnant, because stagnant is you got a little bit of moving going on. Honey, these two have remained stagnant for quite some time. But back to life, back to reality, back to life. Maybe this jolt of reality would gonna get them wide awake. Honey, now, come on in close, get your drinks and stuff, because for the next 20-some minutes, because I'm not going to give them no whole hour. I got my I was wondering when the gonna come up Miami was going to come on, because I was like, well, damn, it's been a week. Like, where's the show? It's coming on tonight. I don't know why they late all of a sudden, but they coming on at 8:30, and I plan on watching it live for once. And I've been busy with other important actual videos, some actual content. So I've been holding off on getting these two fools together. But I finally watched them the other day, because I got to the point where I like to listen to them more than I watch them. So whenever I'm doing like cleaning and stuff around the house, I like to have them on in the background, because they no longer give the theatrics like they used to. And this was even prior to COVID. Even prior to COVID, the chemistry is no longer there where the conversations are good. Well, except for when Ernest Owens popped through. But for the most part, they've gotten very radio friendly. Where it's like they're better suited on radio. And I'm going to start off with getting the positives out the way, and then we're going to get into the dragon. So, like James Caldwell mentioned, Spill It Boy. Yang, 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 yang. Honey, Spill It Boy made a good point that, that they would do well over there on the stereo. Honey, I've seen he's been climbing the leaderboard, been moving on up the leaderboard. Yeah. Honey, moving on up on that leaderboard, honey. But yeah, honey, they can definitely go over there and gonna cut the rug, honey. So, and then that might gonna put a smile on your face. Dun, dun, dun. Honey, probably put a smile on gonna funky face over there. Since he gonna, it seems like he's like Whoopi Goldberg. In it for the money. Honey, he seemed like for the past few years, he's just there for his chick, and he makes it known just like old Whoopi Goldberg ass. But unlike Whoopi, you don't bring no type of entertainment no more. For the past, I would say, 4 years now, you ain't been entertaining worth a damn, Makael. That wants to gonna act like Nicki Minaj and be gonna 30-some years old for forever. Girl. Your name on Twitter is Makael86, bitch, you're 34, honey. Acting like you 72. Trying to pretend to be motherfucking 31. But that's not my issue with Makael. Once again, Makael with this conservative, mindset of his. Because it seems like, and then, Skorpion Show ain't too much better because he gives me doggone CNN news at times. It's like he's CNN and and Kevin is doggone. Makael is Fox. So Kevin is CNN ish, and doggone Makael is Fox-ish, right? So they had this conversation, and we've been getting on them in the comment section about doggone tackling heavy subjects and not taking time to really research the shit. You're being half-assed, and you wonder why and people not paying attention to you. It's like, especially with the type of videos that we do where we don't do too much graphics and all of that, it's like we really need to be on top of our games, honey. We really need to vet our doggone stuff. You just can't be on no Wendy Williams type shit and just be saying stuff out the doggone side of your neck, honey. It's like you really need to be doggone giving some actual information instead of half-assing it. So these two had the audacity to speak on the color, the BlkFishing situation. Y'all know Ivy Park is under fire, under fire, under fire, under fire. In my doggone Spice official voice, honey. They have come under fire for, having two models who are of European Russian descent, white from Europe, specifically Russia, on Ivy Park's website in blackface, so to speak, or, looking ethnically ambiguous. I wouldn't necessarily say blackface because I don't consider tanning, and let me get this out of the way, a white woman tanning their skin, I don't consider blackfishing. Now, when you get into combining that with wearing culturally African styles, that's when you get into blackfishing. And this is where we got to educate dumb, honey. Because Makael said the typical stupid ass thing that most men say. Oh, well, black women wear weave like white women. Well, why can't doggone, Russian women, wear stuff and they're appreciating the culture? It's not appropriation and this, that, and the third. Just doggone trying to doggone mansplain the situation away, honey. Doggone trying to, just pretty much make up an excuse and say, because they're from Russia, they don't understand what, blackfishing is and all this, that, and the third, even though this has been a concept that has been practiced all around the world. We have gotten on Chinese folks about this shit. We've gotten on Japanese folks about this shit. We've gotten on who else? London people in the UK about this doggone type of shit. France with the runway shows. We've had to get on companies like Yves Saint Laurent for doggone appropriating cultural African garments and stuff. And it's high fashion on the runway. But people who come from those cultures who wear those stuff every day that you could deem high fashion is deemed, wicked and witchcraft and all this is voodoo and all this demonic shit when it's on black folks. Same thing with Creole origin with New Orleans. It is certain the origins of black hoodoo/voodoo is deemed demonic and witchcraft, and that ain't of the Holy Spirit. I got to cast that out and all that bullshit that y'all Christians like doggone Makael like to say, honey. But then when the white folks doggone sport it down the runway, it's all this appreciation and shit all of a sudden. But it's not appreciated when it comes from the people that it derives from. And you want to say because they're from Russia that they don't understand this, yet doggone white supremacy has doggone been doing this type of crap all throughout the world, that this is not just indicative of being in the United States. And I don't think Makael, realized that. I don't think he can fathom outside of the U.S. that this shit has been happening. But guess what, sweetheart? It has been happening. And they can say that it's wrapped up in appreciation and that this is how the bitch is all my life. Even outside of recording, I got my braids that don't belong to my people. Honey, why don't you wear the Celtic braids? Why don't you wear the darn, why don't you go and wear the darn Celtic braids? Why don't you go wear the German bun? You want to take our shit, which once again is one thing in itself. But then it comes the conundrum of it takes from a black woman who could have had that position. Because you got it under the guise of you was looking like a darn ethnically indigenous chick that had African ancestors. I wouldn't say you looked like a straight up black woman, because you could tell that, the chick was easily biracial or mixed, Afro-Latino, whatever have you. But you can tell that, just looking at them, these catfishes, they don't never look like this, honey. For the most part, short of getting melanin shots, they ain't looking like this. It ain't no amount of tan naturally getting them down to this beautiful brown shade of melanin magic. Not happening. And even when they take that darn melanin shots and shit, they don't never get this darn rich, lovely shade of hue. It's like they get an unnatural black color, honey. Like not no rich Saharan chocolate color. Like they blackness has a weird gray cast when they get dark and inject themselves. But I digress. But they not trying to get to that level. They just trying to get to the light skinned black women, where it's like the light skin they get put up in America and they get the benefit off of the light skin ethnically indigenous privilege of looking like a quote unquote mulatto / mestizo, where it's like you got that white Native American look going on, or that black / white mixture going on. That's the look that they trying to go for. They trying to go for a somewhat of a Zambia look. They ain't trying to go for no regular straight up darn full on African look, whether it's Afro-Latina that is mostly black, whether it is a black American. No, that's not the look they're going for, but still it's disrespectful nonetheless. And you, Makael, comparing it to cultural hairstyles show how ignorant that you are. And then you want to talk about, well, just because you using anecdotal evidence of your small population of where they located. I want to say they located in Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere up north. They located in Philly, I want to say. So just because you never seen a black person with blonde hair, you want to say, oh, well, any black woman wearing blonde hair is culturally appropriating. So let me take you back to darn biology, Makael. Let me hold on. Let me get you in on a little secret that's not really a secret. Blonde hair is not cultural. Blonde hair is a recessive DNA trait. Blue eyes is a recessive DNA trait that is actually so rare that according to darn scientific studies, because see, I can speak on this because I actually studied biology, so I'm going to go ahead and put you on game, girl. So while you're trying to use your darn false anecdotal evidence of your little sample population of Philadelphia, I'm putting you up on game of knowledge that actual doctors have studied. So according to what doctors have said, blonde hair and blue eyes is a double recessive trait that actually all races of people can genetically have proportionally, including black people. So a black person is just as problematically able to have blonde hair, blue eyes as a white person. It's just in America, you're just more used to seeing white people with that. But we can also go into the fact that black people are also just about 13 to 15% of the population, and white people are around 60+% of the US population. So it's a higher propensity that you would come across a white person with those types of double recessive traits as opposed to a black person who more likely descends from chattel slavery if you've been here several generations, or you're a first or second generation African who has come through here, or you're Afro-Latina or a Caribbean that has come to the United States. So there's a higher probability, even with all those other fellow black races of people coming in, that you would still see a white person. But globally, black people are just as susceptible to being able to carry the double recessive trait of blue eyes and blonde hair. So now that we got that out the way, that we now establish the genetics and the differences between genetics and hairstyles. Because once again, Bantu knots actually belong to the Bantu tribe, which is African people. Senegalese twists are actual hairstyles that come from the Senegal tribe of Senegal, Africa. Fulani braids are a type of braids that descends from the Fulani tribe of Africa. So when you have white people of European descent that do not have no African lineage that take up these styles, it is cultural appropriation. Versus when a black woman of any type of background, whether they be Afro-Latina or Caribbean or Black American or straight up African from Nigeria, guess what? This not cultural appropriation, because black people can have that hair too, even if their family do not descend from that. And you know, we don't even have to bring up the Melanesian people of the Melanesian islands, not to be confused with Africa, because anytime people bring up those pictures of the blonde hair, blue eye, you know, boys and girls with the like I said, the blonde hair and blue eyes, they always try to put them in Africa, but actually they're on the Melanesian islands. It's not Africa. So I wanted to point that out there as well. But yeah, even on the continent, you can have people who have blonde hair, blue eyes, whether they have albinism, whether they just have the recessive traits, and even here in America, whether the person is biracial or not biracial at all. Because according to the DNA of genetics, we as black people carry all the genetic code to carry every type of marker there is. So with that being said, even independent of European DNA, once again, even independent of European admixture DNA, you can have two Africans that can still have the genetic code to have a blonde hair, blue eye baby, a red hair, green eye baby, or any darn gone combination of color, eye color, and hair color in the world without European DNA mixture. So once again, while you foolishly saying that a black person is emulating a darn white woman simply because they have on blonde hair, number one, that was even false within itself, because number one, who is going around wearing Irish hair? Who is going around wearing German hair? Who is going around wearing Italian hair? Unless it's Italian yaki, which mimics darn black hair. You hear every darn type of ethnic group but darn white for the most part. I mean, every now and again you might hear Russian. The irony, you might hear Russian. We talking about two Russian girls on BlkFishing, and the only type of hair that you might hear a black woman might wear is Russian, but for the most part you hear Brazilian. And the Brazilian hair is actually from the indigenous to black folks. Because guess what? Contrary to popular belief, Brazil actually has twice the population of black folks on their island that we have in the United States. We are a population of about 40 million people versus Brazil actually has 80 plus million Afro-Latinas. No, No, I stand corrected, not Afro-Latina, because I stand corrected because Brazil, I have to backpedal on that. Brazil is actually a Portuguese-based, island. So, I don't know what you would call them. I want to say maybe Hispanic, or is it just straight up Latin? To my Brazil folks, what's the correct terminology of a Brazilian? Is it just Brazilian for black folks? Because technically, the Brazilians, they do not speak Spanish as a primary it's Portuguese last time I checked. But regardless, I digress. The point is, blonde hair, blue eyes is a trait, not a motherfucking darn not copying darn white bitches, honey. So that's the first thing that irritated me with darn Makael. And then the fact that he didn't know that, I was like, are you serious? you work in a hospital, and granted that I know you the darn gone janitor, you just darn gonna clean up the shit. You ain't working in any type of medical capacity, and that's no shade, because you know we got to respect everybody who works at the hospital, even down to the darn gone janitors who are picking up the shit in the bathroom as opposed to working in the darn gone treatment room. But it's like I would think it would behoove you, being around so many doctors on a daily basis, to naturally know more darn gone common sense stuff than what you know. Because the fact that you didn't know the difference between a cultural hairstyle and darn gone actual genetics that anybody can have is quite darn gone sad for somebody who always pride themselves working so many years at a darn gone hospital. It's so sad. And all to defend darn gone two bitches who wasn't darn gonna spit on you if you was on fire, hoe. Why you want to darn gonna pride yourself on darn gonna talking all this shit, honey. And I know you probably won't come across this, and that's okay, but I'm sure this probably will reach a darn gone Kevin, and he can darn gonna take something from this, because my thing is this. Now we're going to get on to why you have remained stagnant for so long. Because of your ignorance. Double down with the fact that you refuse to even acknowledge the people in your comment section, because we have politely tried to darn gonna correct you, Makael and Kevin, for years, and Makael has received it and has learned and has tried to, enrich his darn gone mind. Versus Makael, like I said, for him to be 34, pretending to be darn gone 31, acting like 72. He acts like an old fool. And that goes to show with age is not always indicative of wisdom. Age and wisdom are not always intertwined. This is somebody who you can see is seasoned, but is not darn gone good seasoned. You can have well-seasoned fools as well. Not everybody's seasoned is white, baby. Just because somebody is more seasoned than you does not mean that their seasoning comes correct. And Makael's darn gone old raunchy ass shows that quite clear. But like I said, he might never come across this, and this is fine. But I'm sure, like I said, Kevin might come across this, and he can learn from this. Like darn gone Tyra Banks said, learn from this. We were all rooting for you, damn it. Like I said, I don't do this video from a darn gone malice place. Because like I said, I watched y'all from the ups and the downs. I watched y'all back when Lady Gaga, y'all knew Lady Gaga. Y'all done interviewed everybody but Beyonce at this point. Well, for the exception of Solange and Auntie Tina. But y'all done got in contact with Kelly Rowland, Michelle, the Sugar Mamas. Like I say, I have been a fan of y'all's for the long haul. And to see y'all over the years remain stagnant because y'all refuse to... And y'all was doing good at one point. Y'all was even having women on the panels for the conversations like this. Like, I don't know what happened with that. Because in these types of situations, y'all would have women to correct y'all in situations like this. Y'all need to really go back to doing that. Because like I said, it's too darn on masculine gaming. And masculinity is a spectrum. We understand that these two are not trade by no means. But there are more, gays that are not trade that can still be in the masculine category. They are just on more of the husky, borderline bear side of the spectrum. They're the soft bears of the darn gone masculinity group. So acknowledging that, we understand that y'all don't know about makeup and feminine topics about hair and all this, that, and the third. But this is where you reach out to your female supporters, and they could have put you on game, because there was a lot of females in the comment section, and I'm talking about my cisgender female counterparts, that was actually trying to get y'all together correctly. But I'm tired of the correctness approach of it all. Y'all need some darn gone tough love. Because this right here was some bullshit. And then you wanted to finish it on off with talking about, the people are selective because I don't remember the Kardashians getting this backlash. Well, bitch, where have you been? Where have you been? Oh, where have you been? Honey, the Kardashians were getting drugged relentlessly. From darn gone, Kylie trying to claim that she invented color wigs, and then we had to educate that bitch about darn gone Little Kim, Grace Jones, Wu Paul, who were all wearing the wigs before her. Hell, even Beyonce has dabbled in colored hair before her. Hell, back when that bitch was in elementary school, Beyonce was in the darn gone Check Up On It video. Hell, wait a minute. Ain't Kendall only about 21 years old? So 1999. Yeah, girl, you was in darn gone kindergarten. Couldn't spell wig. And Beyonce was rocking color wigs before your motherfucking ass. Talking about you innovated a darn gone color wig. And then came, Kim with the darn gone braids. Then came motherfucking darn gone Chloe with the Bantu knots. Then came Chloe trying to literally morph into Beyonce. With the curly hair, the dress, and emulating everything of darn gone Beyonce. Honey, where have you been when when we was getting them together on all of that bullshit? So, once again, like I said, not darn gone doing your proper research before opening up your darn gone stinking ass mouth, honey. Like I said, it would just behoove y'all to just leave certain subjects alone. If you're not going to take the time to educate yourself or bring in somebody who is more well-versed on these types of topics, such as maybe a Ernest Owens or your female subscribers down below, just shut the fuck on up, darn gone talking about it. And then the last thing that really pissed me off, honey, they was just on the road today with this video. I guess they said, honey, they going for broke, baby. They just going to go ahead and just darn gone really piss off everybody. If that wasn't enough about their ignorance on the difference between cultural hairstyles and genetic traits of blonde hair, blue eyes, women wearing wigs or whatnot. And, not knowing that the wigs that black women wear are usually of indigenous folks, whether it be Asian people, whether it be, Filipino, whether it be directly from India, Indian Remy hair, Brazil, the indigenous Indians of Brazil, or in the black people over there in Brazil. Ain't nobody wearing no white folk hair like that from Brazil. Ain't nobody thinking about no hair. Even Italian hair, black folks we get the yaki version for the most part, the one that mimic darn gone coarse black hair, what black hair looks like when we relax it. For people who say that we don't wear hair that match our texture, but you don't understand that not everybody black has 4C hair. Hell, even my hair is not even 4C. It might look it right now, but honey, my hair is a combination of 3 different curl patterns. But you have people whose hair is way curlier than me naturally. You got Napatoria 85, who's predominantly 4A. You got Mo Nose Hair, who has 3A curl pattern. You got Mahogany Curls, whose hair is more like a 3B, 3C. And all of these people are full black, not no mixture. Not no old half white, half black, none of this. So once again, not understanding that even black folks can have different hair textures and darn gone hair types naturally. Our hair can be coily, our hair can be coarse, our hair can be thin, our hair can be silky. Our hair can be a 2C. Hell, look at Eva. Eva from America's Next Top Model, her hair is like a 2C, 3A hair texture. And she got a black parent and a mixed race parent. But she's dominantly a black woman, a brown-skinned black woman. And she got a curly texture hair. So once again, you're not even realizing that the wigs that black folks wear actually can still be that of hair texture. Because guess what? Not one race of people own a darn gone hair texture. For the possible exception of 4C, which is undeniably African. But any other hair texture, for the most part, any other race of people is just as, not just as likely, but is able to have the hair. You can see Jewish people with 3C hair, and you can see a black person with 2C hair. You can see a biracial person with 4C hair, and you can see a full black person with 3A hair. Because once again, hair type and racial background is not always go hand in hand. You can have a full white person with very curly hair. You can have an Asian person. Not all Asian people have straight jet black hair. There's a lot of Asians who have very curly brown hair. And I'm talking about Shirley Temple curls. So once again, you can't say that somebody wearing a straight hair is automatically emanating European image. Because once again, hair and race, hair texture and curl pattern and race are not always exclusive. And once again, if you would have took the time to darn gonna get somebody on your panel that is more knowledgeable in these subjects, or just shut up darn gonna talking about these subjects, you wouldn't have to worry about none of this backlash. Now, like I said, y'all was just on the roll with this video. Y'all went for broke. Now y'all want to talk, disrespect the whole southern hemisphere of the United States and say that darn on southern people are ignorant and not wearing masks. So you disrespected half of the motherfucking country with your statements. And y'all wonder why your darn on subscriber count has stayed at 149,000 for 2+ years. Now, some folks been saying that the shit been like that for 5 years. Now, I've been following y'all, and it ain't been 5 years. But I know that shit has been on 149 for darn on 2 years straight. And you wonder why you ain't moving on up, not even an ounce, not even a little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Do. Whoop. Flatline. You want to know why you been flatlining? Because of this bullshit right here. You then wanted to darn on disrespect all your southern folks or people currently living in the South and say that we don't wear masks and shit. Where did you get your darn on study on that? What news outlet was you watching? Because I don't even think Fox News would spear that bullshit, because Fox News cater to the conservatives, and most of the conservatives are here in the South. So you can't even say that shit came from motherfucking Fox News, bitch. You can't even darn gonna put Fox News on that bullshit. Because Fox News cater to Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana, South Carolina, North Carolina, all Georgia, which are all in the motherfucking South, bitch. So once again, where did you get that news? Are you once again just pulling shit out of your ass? Is you darn gonna pulling up anecdotal evidence and darn gonna stereotyping the few folks that you seen in the South not wearing masks, and then you want to darn gonna say the whole country over half of America is darn on not wearing masks that are in the South? So you disrespected your southern darn on colleagues as well, because last time I checked, isn't Bonnie Blue in Louisiana? Now, I know Forrest Ross is from the West Coast, but isn't she been in Georgia for the longest, Atlanta to be exact, for the past 15+ years? I don't know where Ashley Miller's at, but I detect a little southern drawl in her voice. I don't. So, are you saying that she part of that as well? Why you want to make mass generalized statements, Miss Makael? I'll wait. Now let's get to the facts though, because I could have sworn that the whole thing popped off in New York City, and then it spread to California, California. This is New York, the epicenter where it was made of. Honey, it was in New York City for the longest, boo. Now, I'm not the best when it comes to geography, but I could have sworn that New York is in the north. And I could have sworn that California was the West Coast. Honey, the most heavy, most populated darn on hot spots for the longest was darn on in California and New York. And that was even before we got Florida on the map. So we got Florida to California and New York. But you want to make darn on generalized comments about the South. And this right here is why y'all motherfuckers stay stagnant. This right here is why y'all have stayed at 149. And then, like I said, you can't make this shit up. So we already established that these two didn't know the differences between genetics and darn on cultural hairstyles. Then they want to disrespect the entire South by saying that we're darn on keeping the spread of the corona, honey. As opposed to the shit starting off in the North for the longest. And now, you thought it was done. Oh no, they darn on went at it with some more foolishness. Then they had the audacity to darn on try to say the reason why they haven't been moving on up is because, you know, speaking on black subjects like this. And when we speak that real shit, you know, YouTube don't like it, bitch. Honey, YouTube loves folks like you, honey. YouTube loves ignorant, wrong motherfuckers like you. Actually, according to your own statements, honey, you should be up to damn near 1 million subscribers. You should be up to damn near 1 million subscribers with your darn on false statements and pulling shit out of your darn on ass, honey. I mean, the way that they darn on said that, you would have thought that they were darn, and y'all know I don't even like darn on T-Toad, but honey, y'all would have thought these two was Lovely T. Honey, Lovely T has spoken, and you know, when she wanted to, honey. But, you know, at one point in time, Lovely T has stayed talking about certain subjects to the point where her channel got taken down. And then she had to create the Lovely T, Lovely T 2013 or 12 channel. And then she had to get off YouTube for about 6 months, and she was over on Daily Motion because she was speaking on so many black issues. And then when she got back on, she was doing the Lovely T News Network since she got both channels. Now this is somebody who has weathered the storm and still thrived. Since you want to say that, oh, YouTube is somehow isolating you, but other folks who cater to white folks are getting put on. But there is multiple people, including the top 3 people of YouTube in the black sector, who has talked about black subjects, and yet they still managed to climb on up. Lovely T being one of them at 900,000 subscribers. When she did the Million Man March videos, and granted it only got 30,000 views, but she stayed persistent. When the recent death happened in Tennessee, she was on the front line. Even with her having an autoimmune disorder and her being susceptible to being more sick because she has sickle cell, she was on the front line. But you saying that, you know, people still can't thrive while it's talking about black subjects, but that's one person right there at 900,000 subscribers. Then you got Tasha K, who I've seen her on channels like Nyla Says and Taz Exclusives and several other people in the black conscious sector of YouTube. And this is somebody who is at 800,000 subscribers, who has sat and darn gone engaged in conversations with black conscious YouTubers. Because subjects that she was not necessarily fully versed with, she took the time to do what y'all two motherfuckers haven't been doing, which is darn gone getting around people who are more knowledgeable on the subject and enriching your vernacular. That's another one. Then you got Africa Diaspora News Network, formerly known as The Advice Show, with Phil Scott, who he caters to nothing but black news, and he has over 1 million subscribers. So please don't darn gone say that you talking about black subjects here and there from your mammy-like perspective. Because this is what it comes off as. Y'all come off as some darn gone ignorant mammies. And then y'all want to darn gonna say that's not why you climbing on up when I just named 3 people who are at damn near 1 million subscribers each, who have a combined total of subscribers that are around 2.7 million between 3 black folks, 3 lovely dark-skinned chocolate black folks, 3 unambiguously dark-skinned black folks who have persevered in spite of their videos getting flagged and stuff left and right, and they still make more money in a month than y'all have made in a year. And y'all cannot stand it. And y'all want to blame it on, oh, they benefiting from white people, this, that, and the third, even though we got one channel who talks about nothing but pro-black subjects. And y'all can't fathom that because y'all supposed to be where Phil is at. Financial-wise, y'all was the ones who have direct contacts with Tamar Braxton and, Tamar Braxton, Beyonce Cap, Lady Gaga. Y'all have actually hung out with Lady Gaga, this, that, and the third. And yet, according to Social Blade, honey, y'all make less income than me. Honey, y'all total income for the year is about $14,000 that y'all got to split 2 ways before taxes. Yet y'all darn gonna talk about people who are only benefiting because they talking about white people, but most of their subjects have been black-based and they make more money in a month. Hell, Tasha K makes about $14,000 in a damn week on a good week, honey. So you got a person who makes more money in a week than y'all two make in a whole year. And this is somebody who has been on pro-black channels. So please cut the bullshit on, oh, it's because you talk about black subjects once in a blue moon from a mammy perspective. This is why y'all ain't getting the views that y'all want to. Yeah, you're partially right, but it's not from the perspective of which you're trying to convey. It's not about YouTube trying to shadow ban you, because like I said, they love darn on ignorant folks like you. Of all things, they would try to push you on up. But it's because you're so darn on stupid and disrespectful to your whole race of darn on people. That's why you have remained on the flat line. That's why you have remained on the darn on flat line. Because we're not darn on entertaining this bullshit. We're not invested in this shit like we used to. We'll tune in to y'all every once in a blue moon when y'all talking some lighthearted shit. But when y'all talk some serious shit like this is where we got to walk on by in my Dionne Warwick voice. Maybe you're darn gonna understand that since you're such a fan of Kevin and Makael. You should have did like her lyrics and walked on by this motherfucking subject. You wouldn't have to get this darn on good educated read for me, bitch. Why you want to disrespect the entire South talking about we spreading corona? Why you want to darn on not know the difference between genetics and darn on cultural hairstyles? And then want to blame your darn on lack of financial success on anything but your darn on lack of determination and darn on trying to move up with the times. Y'all have stayed in the same darn on type of format for many years. Hell, even I've upgraded my shit several times and I got the video qualities over 8 years to prove it. Even on my little limited income, I have darn on still persevered while y'all have remained stagnant. So it's only due to your lack of actions, honey. Once again, in my Tyra Banks voice, take accountability for yourself. Don't try to darn gon' blame no darn gon' white supremacy for your darn gon' stagnance. And even your darn gon' former bestie has darn gon' surpassed both of y'all. The King of Reeds, which is a misnomer because he's more like the court jester of Reeds at best, honey. He don't come nowhere near the king status. But even him, the court jester parading around as the King of Reeds, he's currently sitting at $160,000. I mean, he wish he could sit at $160,000, but 160,000 viewers. And he constantly uplifts the image of black women. He constantly talks about the struggles of black women and trans women and black gay men. Way more than y'all two. And yet he's able to be more financially successful. He went from homeless to darn on running circles around y'all in the view count. Being able to host shows such as darn on Chasing Atlanta versus y'all two. Y'all should have been on those types of gigs. Y'all was the ones, like I said, who was actually connected to A-list celebrities at one point. And now you want to blame y'all lack of success on and darn on and put down everybody else's success. because of white people preferring them. No. No, you don't get to use that darn excuse, honey. For all the reasons that I just darn conveyed. And on that note, that's it for this. Because I'm about to get ready to hop in the shower and get ready to watch my darn Come Up Miami. And we're going to call it a damn day. So y'all leave y'all thoughts down below on this darn bullshit that darn Makael and Kevin tried to darn spill the other day on here. Y'all tell me y'all thoughts on this bullshit. If y'all took the time to listen, I definitely understand if y'all didn't darn listen to all of this. Because like I said, this was just 46 minutes of me addressing nothing but darn bullshit. But if y'all have listened all the way through, y'all leave y'all comments down below. Feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will see y'all soon with actually more productive videos. Because we won't address these two riffraffs no more, honey.